How's it going? So I'm sat in a park and there's swans and ducks and students and people and wind, so this might not sound fantastic, but the substance, the fantastic words of which I will speak is more the point rather than fantastic audio. So I hope this is of use to people. Basically, what I want to discuss is collapse and which outcome, what's supposed to happen. There's a lot obviously going on over the last few years of collapse of governments, collapse of currencies, earth changes. 2012 was full of all that theories of flooding, and I believed a lot of that stuff myself. And also we're seeing a mix of people are questioning things more and more. You've got two groups. There's groups of people who are aware that this system doesn't work anymore. We're entering a new time, a new period, a new paradigm. Government ain't working. Central banking ain't working. Processed food ain't working. TV. A lot of the comfortable shit that we've been used to, that has kind of allowed us all to kind of sit back and just ride, just let it happen. They'll build the roads. We don't have to do anything. They'll feed us shit and we don't have to do anything. Humans are comfortable. We want to be comfortable. We want routine. We don't want to have to think. We don't want to have to be challenged. We don't want to take responsibility. And there's two groups. There's people who are waking up and becoming more aware of what's going on and questioning things, and that varies from people obviously who have realised for years and know for years that it's all nonsense, it's all bullshit. Whatever is blanket coverage is bullshit, or is distraction and is nonsense. If the bombings happen and if the false flags are not false flags, it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. It's distraction. So real or not real, they still have the same effect, and the effect is to steer and to tap into our energy and to distract us from being still, distract us from who we are and what we're doing here and what we're capable of. So it's an endless barrage of distraction. Reality TV, more TV shows, more TV channels, more shit news stories, supposedly news of celebrities, or it's just constant. It's constant, day in, day out. And as soon as one kind of fades a little, bang, they have another one. Another terrorist attack. Ooh, another distraction, outrage. Feed the machine. We live in the matrix. This is the matrix. The purpose of the media and government is distraction. It's to distract us from who we are and what we're doing here. I'll go into that at another stage. That's another video. But it's just something to think about. And when I say distraction, it goes from both sides. It goes from the alternative media, conspiracy media, and obviously the mainstream media. So a lot of the alternative stuff is nonsense as well. It doesn't matter. It's distraction. Ultimately, we don't need any outside influence. It'll be slammed in front. It'll be held in front of your face if you need to know something. If we're silent and still, and you observe, that's all we need to know. We'll find our way. We'll know what's real and what's not real. But they don't want us doing that. They want us to stay on the treadmill and stay in. As long as you're on that treadmill, you're not really thinking for yourself. You're sucked into. You're feeding the machine. You're feeding all that powerful Kundalini spiritual energy that's fucking rocketing up through our bodies, up to the mind. It's all going to Paris attacks, Black Lives Matter, whatever other bollocks is out there. So it's just distraction. It doesn't matter. So in the two groups, there's the people who are waking up. I'm going to do another video on waking up, because that's another nonsense, in the sense that, yes, people are waking up, but they're not awakened. It's an awakening. This is an ongoing, multi-generational, multi-lifetime awakening. So the second group would be those who are hanging on and still dependent on the state. They're marching in the streets. They want whatever it be, whether it be better police forces, better government, or usually it's socialism, sadly, which is more government, more regulation, more control, more policing, and they're convinced that one politician will save. There might be 300,000 civil servants who are corrupt as fuck and taking half days and smoking cigarettes and have no knowledge of economics or the way the world works, in no way enlightened or bright. But this one man who comes in, he will save everyone. That's daft. So these people, I think, are hanging on by their fingernails to be saved. They want the world saved. They want someone else to do it. And we're entering a period where someone else is not going to save your life. The last few months that I've been through, this is an individual path and an individual journey. It helps to have people around you who maybe have been through it, or who are going through it, or who are supportive. But at the end of the day, each individual needs to face and take responsibility for their actions and for their life, and burn out that karma, or burn out the sins or the wrong decisions or stupid things they did, stupid things they committed to. You got to burn all that shit out, each person. And our egos are struggling with that. We want to retain control. We want things to be comfortable, to be smooth. We want things to stay comfortable and harmonious. And our world is kind of, the old paradigm is falling apart, so we're panicking. And a lot of us are then going out and protesting and thinking that Bernie Sanders or whoever the hell, it doesn't really matter. Any of them, they're all assholes and they're all daft. And even if they are a saint, it ain't about them, it's about you. It's about each individual taking responsibility for his journey and riding that wave alone, really. So the purpose of media and politics is to keep us away from who we are and what we're doing here. As I said, I'll go into that at a later date. The solution to a lot of this, I think, throughout my videos, or the reason I set up the meditation on the website, is to observe this, to be able to step back and look at it, observe our own egos kicking up and panicking, and observe the way the rest of the world is working. Everyone else's egos kicking up and panicking and wanting to be in control, wanting to be right, wanting the solution, wanting to know the way out. The way out is gold and silver. The way out is Bernie Sanders. Well, maybe there is a way out, and the way out is through our own path, which we can find ourselves, which we can mine. So buying gold and silver, or voting for Bernie Sanders, or moving to Switzerland, or whatever the fuck it is, it's irrelevant. Where is your energy going? How open are you? Are you listening to your guidance, to your direction? What path are you on? I wrote an article a few months ago, and I'll stick the link in the box below. I didn't go into much detail on it, but I trained myself basically to be able to see the next number on a roulette wheel, what number is going to hit. And I got to a point where I could see about 80%. I could see about 8 out of 10 numbers. Some 5 times in a row, bang, 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 bang. I knew what number was coming up. And then I got to a point where I know a number of other people who do this. This is not unusual. This is not magic. So I got to a point where I then just had the idea of picking a number and seeing, could I make that number hit? Now, this was done with a digital app on a phone. It wasn't a physical wheel, and it wasn't a wheel in a casino. It was just an app from the App Store, a roulette wheel, spin, bang. And I could pick a number, and I basically get the same results. 8 out of 10. So I then realized that, or my interpretation is that I've been steering my reality to the chosen number, to the number I want. I live in the reality where number 11 is the next number to hit, and number 11 will hit. I live in the reality where number 15 hits, and number 15 will hit. So we're living in the reality that we have individually chosen, and we can choose chaos, or we can choose drama, we can choose, banks on fire in the streets and people starving to death, batten down the hatches. We can choose war, we can choose all the shit that the media wants us to reverberate at and vibrate at and talk about and outrage and discuss. Or we can ignore all that and we can choose a higher energy and a higher vibration. So rather than spinning the wheel and randomly guessing or, hoping, seeing what happens, pick the reality and go there and make it happen. And that's what I think we're entering into. That is the oncoming or the ongoing awakening. And I'll go into that in much more detail in another video, because it's, in my opinion, it's totally misunderstood again. Really what's happening now is that we are forced to take responsibility, to be individuals, and it's not a group thing. As a group we can work together, support each other, help each other, but each individual has to take responsibility and has to drive the bus to where they want to go. So if you arrive in Shitsville, you drove yourself. I drove myself to Shitsville. Okay? Also, to finish, is the theory that, in my understanding, I have been here probably, I don't know how many thousand times. I was told 2,500 times. I think it was 2.5, or maybe it was 1,500 times. It could be a lot more than that. So, and I well believe that we've been here hundreds of times, thousands of times. Time doesn't even exist. It's a human invention. So this blip that's happening at the moment is just a blip. It's a drop in the ocean. It'll pass in the blink of an eye in the grand scheme of things. So why panic? Why worry? So that's it. I hope it was of interest and of use to a few people. I would be curious to hear your responses, so please feel free to leave a comment below, good or bad, hopefully constructive, and subscribe if you want, and all that stuff. Thanks.